Good morning, I'm Peter Melios from the Finance News Network. Big tech and AI stocks resume their sell-off as investors continue to rotate into the undervalued small cap and cyclical sectors. The broad S&P 500 fell 0.5%, while the Nasdaq closed 0.9% lower. The Dow Jones was the best performer of the major indices, finishing the day in the green, up 0.2% after rallying as much as 1.5% in the early session. The Russell 2000 lifted by 1.26% overnight as investors continued their shift into the smaller end of town. Small cap stocks have now outperformed the Nasdaq 100 by approximately 18% over the last 11 sessions. The big news of the day was around the continued sell-off in big tech and AI as investors continued to exit the tech space. Nvidia fell 2%, Alphabet declined more than 3%, Meta and Microsoft both slumped 2%, while Advanced Micro Devices fell 4%. The VanEck Semiconductor ETF closed 2% lower on the day. In other company news, Ford Motor collapsed 18.4% after reporting lower than expected second quarter earnings. ServiceNow surged 13% on stronger than expected earnings, and Edwards Life Sciences slumped 31% for its worst day since 2000, after slashing its forecast for transcatheter aortic valve replacements. IBM closed 4.3% higher after it reported a jump in bookings for its artificial intelligence business as customers work to implement the latest technology. US defense giant Northrop Grumman closed over 6% higher after it raised its forecast for full-year revenue and profit amid increased global defense spending and a strong backlog. In macroeconomic news, second quarter GDP showed the US economy grew 2.8%, much stronger than consensus expectations of a 2.1% rise. Consumer spending was driven by a rebound in durable goods such as cars and furnishings. Despite the acceleration in growth, the figures represent a moderation from last year as high interest rates have cooled consumer spending and broader economic activity, gradually taming inflation. Turning to US sectors, communication services was the worst performer on the day, closing down by 1.86%. Energy was the best performer, closing higher by 1.47%. In European market news, the regional stock 600 closed down 0.72%, following the US-led as technology stocks weighed on the index. Consumer goods giant Unilever climbed 6% despite missing a sales growth forecast as it upgraded its full-year margin guidance. And looking ahead to the Australian landscape, the SPI futures are pointing to a 0.4% gain. Thank you for listening and have a great weekend.